Nice to meet you. I remember seeing you
Wow, what a photo op. Now who's missing? Oh no.
Good evening, everyone.
And Farouk, where's...
My name is Ron Suzuki, and the big thing for me is, can people see me? But the most important thing is, can you hear me? And I know what I've heard a lot about is acoustics, and it's been a long time since we used sound systems. So if we're sounding a little bit funny or hazy, let me know. We're trying to adjust the sound for you. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Strathcona Community Center. I'm very proud to be a board member at Strathcona. I'm a former staff person here. And with me tonight is Mark Ishiguchi, one of our board members. And Holly Alea, our board president. So before we begin speeches, I'd just like to again acknowledge we are on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people. Again, welcome to Strathcona. We are now 47 years old. I would like to... Sorry, 48. So 2020 is our 50th anniversary. Okay. I would also, if you have not had the delicious chili, it came from our Cap C program, and it's been delivered by our wonderful youth. So the Strathcona youth, these young people set up the room in about half an hour. I mean, it was just great, and they've been great hosts, and they're just Strathcona youth. This is what the youth here in Strathcona do on a Friday night. They hang around the center, but they're engaged, and that's really exciting. And we would not be able to do it without our youth workers. Ayad is here today. Ayad Sadiq. Okay, you know Janet, everyone will get to know Janet because she's the one that's going to hold you to the 2 minutes that you're allowed to speak. All right. So anyways, this is part of the Van East Votes. And the Van East Votes is made up of some wonderful organizations, including Strathcona Community Center Association, Raycamp Community Center Association, Britannia Community Services Society, East Van Family Place, Alive. There are so many community heroes that what we want to do, even on a Friday night, is to get people excited about voting October the 20th. And the idea of Van City Votes is so giving people an opportunity to meet the candidates, get an understanding of what the issues are, and be able to speak on behalf of their community and behalf of themselves. So that is Van City Votes, and this is the last Van City Vote event. But I urge the public that are here today is make sure everyone comes out and votes. It's so important. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a 2-minute introduction from our candidates, and we're going to start off with the cardboard first, and we can go from the back here, or we can go from the front. Stuart? Front? Okay, let's go with Stuart. All right, Stuart McKinnon.
Hi everybody, my name is Stuart McKinnon. I'm a current commissioner on the Vancouver Board of Parks and Recreation. I'm with the Green Party, running with my two wonderful compatriots, Dave Demers and Emile Dumont. This is an important neighborhood for me. Growing up, I grew up away from here, but I used to come down here to play field hockey at Strathcona Park. I used to call it Hawks Park because it was the home of the Vancouver Hawks, and it was understand in those days. Strathcona Park is a very important part of this neighborhood, and I understand that lots of people here have some trepidation with the bringing down of the viaducts, what's going to happen in this neighborhood. I can tell you that I share some of those concerns with you. This is a neighborhood that needs parks, and Strathcona Park is very important to you, and I understand that. I want to support your community on that. Otherwise, I hope that you'll come by. I'm going to be at table 9. Come by and say hello and get to know me and get to know the other candidates. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Okay, let's try this. Can everyone hear me okay? Hi, my name is Cameron Zuko. I am running with Vision Vancouver for Parkport. I'm here with my running mate, Shanine Shivji over here on the end. I am an outdoor enthusiast. I'm a business owner. I am a Métis. I'm a technology pioneer. I'm running for Parkport because I want to make a positive change in my community. I believe that our parks, our community centers are so important as more and more people move into the city of Vancouver. Our parks, our community centers are places that we meet, we gather, we make new friends, we share our stories, and it's really the glue that holds us together as a community. My background, I'm on an advisory committee for the city of Vancouver, where I work with city councilors and park board commissioners to help shape city policy. I come from a vast wilderness called the Northwest Territories of Canada, where I grew up with a forest at my doorstep and a lake in my backyard. So I think it would just be wonderful if every kid that grows up in Vancouver could have that same kind of access to nature, that same kind of connection to health and well-being, and that's something I want to bring to Parkport. I also believe in net zero, no loss of green space, so when it comes to this neighborhood, that's something that I'll be working very hard for. So once again, Cameron Zuko, Vision Vancouver. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Rick Hurlbut. I'm running with ProVancouver with Greg. My background is pretty mixed in terms of parks and recreation. I'm probably the only candidate with actually a university degree in recreation administration. On top of that, I've worked at summer camp, full day camp, and overnight camp, and for the YMCA. So I've got a well-rounded background in terms of the parks and recreation system. As far as the community center network is concerned, you know, every neighborhood is unique, and every neighborhood has its own distinct needs and wants and desires. I don't think there should be any reason why any particular neighborhood or any particular community center can't realize its objectives. It's just a matter of cooperating throughout the system and making sure that the Parks Board is looking at what is needed generally, as well as what are the specific needs of each neighborhood. So again, Rick Hurlbut, running with ProVancouver.
Good evening. My name is John Irwin. I'm running with Coke along with Gwen Eastbrecht. You know, I just wanted to acknowledge that we are on unceded Coast Salish territory, and I think we need to put a little bit of action behind our words when we say that we need infrastructure and programs for First Nation peoples and Indigenous urban people as well. A little bit about my past. I worked for about 14 years on the Southeast Falls Creek area, and one of the most stimulating things was we were pushing for community gardens in that area, and we came and toured Strathcona Gardens and saw the beauty of that garden and how it was well established. And we tried to fight officially to get community gardens in Southeast Falls Creek. We didn't get them, unfortunately, officially, but unofficially people moved in and then they built some community gardens, right? So there's always hope. We're very much supportive of keeping green space and increasing it also with the viaducts coming down or if they stay up. And also on the Ray Camler New project, we're very keen to see that facility grow and be built out to better use and better programming. Not to say that it doesn't have a good use and programming now, but we could make it better. And also maybe adding a social housing component to try and house some people. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Greg Angelo, Parks Commissioner for ProVancouver. I just want to say good luck to the school trustees and good luck to all of our Parks Board candidates. You're witnessing something really important tonight because I predict 4 or 5 of this entire group is going to be elected in the elections coming up. So you've got the cream of the crop here tonight, and I'm honored to be with them, and I'm honored to be speaking to you. I live and breathe Parks and Recreation. I have for the 35 years that I've lived in Vancouver. I'm a testament to why physical activity, sport, and recreation is important for children and youth. I was bullied as a kid, so I got into my sport, which is wrestling, which allowed me to go on and get a free education at university and compete at the Olympics and the Commonwealth Games. At a time when I was training, Britannia, Templeton, and Hastings gave me a job. When I didn't have a job, I ran the food bank program at Kawasa Neighborhood House. So, and I used to live actually just at Clark and Pender there, and as well Dundas and the 9-1. I'm living in Mount Pleasant now. So I understand East Van. I know every park in the city. I have a dog every day. We are in a trail, on the beach, in the park, in facilities. So it's really important. What I want to do is ensure that we create a paradigm shift with the city council and the mayor that sport, physical activity, and recreation is an investment, not an expense. We need to invest up front now and pay dearly for the rest of our lives. And so I'm a huge advocate of ensuring that we have programs for our children, for our youth, and for our seniors, because it's really important to be engaged. Volunteerism is huge. I've sat on 10 boards, so you young people here, this is amazing that you're doing this because you're going to be the future leaders of this community. So I want to give you a great applause for your time today. Thank you very much.
I'll just leave that there. My name is Matthew Cadges. I'm the sole candidate running for the Work Less Party in this election. I would like to acknowledge as well that this meeting is taking place on the unceded territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh people. I'd like to echo what John had to say, that we really need to take those from being just words into being action, and quite pleased with the steps that the Park Board has taken so far to make those moves, and I'd like to see that put forward even further. Little about me, my background is I'm an activist. I'm a very avid gardener. I love green space, I love plants, and I have a deep background as a first responder. I was a ski patroller for 10 years. I volunteered in the downtown east side with current council candidate Sarah Blythe's crew reversing overdoses. And I like to take that approach into governance. I believe that governance should be about 2 things. I believe it should be about the principle of nothing about us without us. So no moving forward in community plans without the community. And I believe that it should be about the guiding principle behind triage. And that principle is to create the greatest good for the greatest number of people. And so if elected to Parks Board, that's what I'm hoping to do. And I think that's about all I have to say. I look forward to your questions soon.
Good evening, my name is Dave Devers. I am a first-time candidate for the Green Party of Vancouver with Camille Stewart over there. I'm a gardener at heart, and that's what I do as a profession as well. Had a very early start studying horticulture, then traveled the world, doing working in private gardens, independent gardens, doing plant exploration, and I ended up on the West Coast about 12 years ago. And as I said, this is my first run for any kind of office. I didn't really know what I was going to, what a campaign was going to be like. It's been very interesting, and one of my favorite things has been to meet people of different horizons and backgrounds, taking me out of my usual circle. And one of those persons is a woman Camille and I met here in this neighborhood a couple of weeks ago. Her name is Amber, a dog walker. You might know her. She's certainly well known. She seemed to know the entire neighborhood when we walked around. And Amber reached out to us so we could walk the neighborhood and see how parks are maintained and what the problems and concerns of the local population are. And I got 2 main things out of it. Yes, there's issues and concerns with parks, and those were very obvious. And the second thing is that Strathcona is a beautiful neighborhood. I didn't know the neighborhood very well, and and I hope you're proud because I sure am, and you should all be proud of this neighborhood. Thank you. Again, Dave Demers, Green Party.
Hello everyone, my name is Camille Dumont. I'm also running for the Green Party with Dave and Stuart. First, I just want to thank you guys for feeding us. You'll note that candidates are a lot better behaved and more friendly. So thank you, I appreciate that very much, and thanks for having us tonight. My background is in food system sustainability. I did my education at UBC in the land and food systems section. I'm the founder of an urban farm called Inner City Farms here in Vancouver, and my work is largely in that space between our species and ecological sustainability. That's kind of where I spend my time professionally. One thing that I know our host and I spoke about briefly at Strathcona a week or two ago is the emphasis on food security issues that community centers, the role that community centers can play in sort of harboring and sustaining and supporting members of our community that are suffering from food insecurity, and that's a really big issue, and I think it's something where the park board can play a role. Prior to my urban farming life and academic life, I worked at the park board for over a decade as a seasonal full-time employee, so my knowledge of the system is primarily firsthand as a worker in the garden. That's where I fell in love with gardening. I'm very honored to be amongst this massive group of candidates. The campaign has been interesting. We're winding down. Everyone's in the home stretch, so thank you all for coming. Everyone's tired and hungry and happy, and here we are. So thanks so much. I look forward to speaking to you guys.
Hello friends, I'm Cliff Ralph. I'm running as an independent on this election. I have three major goals. I want to improve our community centers, I want to improve our community gyms, and I want to involve social groups more into the fabric of how the park board operates. A little bit about me. I grew up on a farm out in the Okanagan, and I moved here about 7 years ago. I've got soil in my blood. I should talk about that, but that's another time. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do with Vancouver in the future. We have a big shift coming up for us with climate change, with affordability in the city, with housing insecurity. These are three major things that we're going to be tackling this year. I'm looking forward to finding ways to involve the community and make sure people have social spaces to go to. Thank you.
My name is Shamim Shivji, and I am running with Vision Vancouver for Park Board, along with my colleague, Cameron Goodco. I wanted to first of all thank you all for being here. I'm honored to see so many people here. I wanted to thank the association for putting this event on. Thank you very much. My background is that I am a lawyer by training and a mediator, and a small business owner. In the past, I've worked at various nonprofit boards, but in the past 7 years, I was on the West Point Grade Community Association board, and in the last 2 years, I was the president. In working with the board, as president with the park board, I realized how important it was that we have somebody from the community center network. We have 24 community centers across Vancouver. We serve over 100,000 people, and I think I can add value to the board. I believe it's critical that somebody be present on the board from the community center system. My three priorities are: I'm passionate about community engagement, I'm passionate about equity. I would like equity in terms of community amendments, in terms of parks throughout the 25 neighborhoods. I'm also passionate about preserving our parks and about increasing our parks as we anticipate more and more people. We're expecting 60,000 people over 10 years. And yeah, I think we will have to work hard to make sure everybody has green space in the future and for our future generations, and to protect our coastlines. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Casey Crawford. I am running with the NPA tonight. Here we are, also a candidate with the NPA. That's a bit about myself. I got involved, I'm a current park board commissioner running for re-election. I got involved because youth sport is very important to me. I have 2 young sons, very active in field sports, field hockey, baseball, soccer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what was really important to me is that discussion around the board table at Park Board about youth sports and the facilities that are there for them. Having 2 young boys, seeing what trouble they get into if they're not busy with sports was really important, and the value and the power of team and individual sport and developing young men is important. So I want to continue that conversation, that discussion moving forward. I've also been very lucky as a liaison to the Strathcona Community Centre for the last 4 years to visit and spend time in this facility in this neighborhood. I've learned the system here at the community center and the network with the facility, with the school board and the other operating systems here. And I think it's important that we work moving forward on that relationship and building a fantastic facility for now and the future. I've also had a lot of time spent in the neighborhood. Parks are important, but another opportunity I've learned a lot about is greening this neighborhood. I've spent time with several community members learning the streets where more trees could be planted. So I've passed that along to our staff, where there's real opportunities for bringing more green space through improved tree planting in the neighborhood. Thank you, as people have said, thank you for being here tonight. It's really important that you're involved and learn about the election going forward, so I appreciate you all coming. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Wiesla. I'm running with the NPA for Park Board. I grew up at the other end of Main Street, so at the south end. I went to John Oliver Secondary School. I grew up at Sunset Community Center. That was home for me. So on a Friday and Saturday night, we had a program called Night Hoops. Do you have that here? Basketball program? No? So that was my out. That was my way of not getting into trouble. Currently, I also had when I was growing up, we also had a swimming pool. That's something we don't have anymore. So those were the kinds of things I grew up with. Night hoops, swimming pool. We don't have a pool anymore. I have 2 kids that now go to the same community center preschool that I went to. They don't have those same facilities anymore. So rather than taking stuff away from communities, we should be investing in them. That's why I'm running for Park Board. I think rec centers are a great outlet for kids to stay out of trouble, not only stay out of trouble, but be productive and grow. I know I got 1 minute, but that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for your
time. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gwen Giesrecht, and alongside with John Irwin, I'm a co-candidate for Park Board in this election. And when Ron made his introductions and he listed off the number of people that have pulled together to make this meeting happen and all the meetings for Vanny's votes, my little heart swelled with pride, because I have been a board member at Britannia for more than a decade. I'm past president of that board for more than 8 years. And what we do really well in East Vancouver is we pull together. As community agencies, not-for-profit agencies, we work together, we make things happen for our youth, for our families, and for everyone in our communities. I would like to see that model extended throughout the city. I think there is a great capacity. As has been referenced, we're a growing city community. We have great opportunities within all our community center locations, all of our recreational centers, to build that community, to build that resiliency, and to make our city a better place for it. Along with that, we need to maintain the green spaces that are available. We need to make sure that our families have got access to programs in recreation that are affordable, that we have swim facilities that are accessible, and that everywhere we go in the public realm, as we do now in the parking lot at Britannia, a tangible recognition of whose property we are inhabiting. The Schwollen Pavilion on Britannia grounds was the first of what I hope to see many installations throughout the public realm in Vancouver, where we have a tangible visual reminder of whose territory we occupy. Thanks so much for your time tonight and for putting this together. And I would really like to be on the Vancouver Park Board and speak on behalf of the people of East Vancouver. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gwen. That's the last of our port board candidates, and I should mention that all the 24 community centers are jointly operated with the community association, who have been reduced, as well as the Board of Parks and Recreation and that. So our community centers could not function the way they do without these candidates and that. So it's really important that you guys make sure that we get the right people in, and because they're going to be the ones that are making the decisions on our facility and on our operation. So I'd like to now turn it over to our school board candidates. And as you know, Strathcona, as an example, is connected to one of the biggest inner city schools in Vancouver. And again, what happens at that school happens to our community center. So it's really important we got our eyes and ears looking at the best possible school board candidate. So, who's first?
Vancouver first.
Hello, my name is Morgan Auger. I'm a school board candidate. I'm an independent candidate. And I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight, taking the time out to find out about us and what we're all about. I was the DPAC chair. DPAC is the Council of PACs for the PTAs. So I represented the 50 to 60,000 parents of school-age children in Vancouver when the Vancouver School Board tried to close Britannia Secondary in 2016-2017. And working with the parents of all of the neighborhood associations and all of the schools, we successfully organized and stopped the school board from closing. Not only that school, but 11 other schools, 10 of which were in the east side of Vancouver, conveniently. There was, it was a great example of community leaders getting together and listening to stakeholders and getting things done. And this is what I'm all about. I am here to make sure that the Vancouver School Board acts in transparency and fully accountable. I'm here to make sure that when we make a spending decision, we ask every single time, how does this benefit the quality of the education of our children? I'm here to make sure that every single school in the Vancouver School Board is safe and inclusive, which means that it's been seismically remediated, it means that it's culturally safe, and it means that the children in that facility, or the workers in that facilities, are not going to be discriminated against on any circumstance whatsoever. So again, I'm Morgan Auger. You can find my literature over there to get to the website to get all my details. Please have fun tonight, and don't forget to stop and talk.
Bonsoir, mon nom est Stéphanie Descoteaux, and I'm running with the Vancouver First Board as a school board trustee. What I'm about, so my study accent is from Quebec, obviously, so I've been here for 20 years, and my background is an accounting educator. Three things for me is bringing the financial of the school board at a level that everyone understands. Financial education for our youth, so they have life skills to prepare them to be leader in the world. And then third, anti-bullying, well-being of our kids is number one. And so for me, a lot of parents came to me and have concern or have question about the financial of the school board. And it's really complicated, and I want to bring it to a level where it's a language that everyone will understand. Financial education for youth. I have lots of parents and lots of people in the workshop that I deliver that says to me, wow, this education should be in high school. Youth needs to learn this at a young age. Youth are dealing with anxiety, stress. It's contributing to homeless in the city that they are not well educated about how to run financials. So that's really important to me. And the well-being of kids and anti-bullying, that's a subject that is really dear to me. I created a program a few years ago with 5 women experts, and we delivered the program in organization for youth at risk, and it was a good success. And I've been dealing with depression for many years. That's something I don't want kids to be dealing with. So again, my name is Stephanie Decoteau with Vancouver First. Financial review, financial literacy, and wellness and anti-bullying for kids. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lois Champedley. I'm running for school board with the Vancouver Greens with Janet and Janet Fraser and Trevita Gonzalez. I have two little boys and they go to Britannia Elementary School. We lived there for 7 years. So we're quite plugged into the community. We've been going to the Eastside Family Place since they were newborns, basically, and so we're quite plugged into the community and really feel the issues that affect it, and so I feel like I can be a voice for that at the school board. I want to take a few seconds to talk about something that's been on my mind lately, which is dealing with spent a bunch of time today going on Twitter and looking at some casually racist stuff that came out of the WeChat scandal that you might want to look at later. But my reason for running is because I believe that hate and divisiveness has no place in this world, and especially not in the education of our kids. And this is something that the Greens are really proud of as well. At all levels of government and all around the world. And we want to be the people that bring people together, bring voices together and find solutions that work for everyone rather than divide. We can't solve our problems fighting amongst ourselves. We have to learn from one another and we have to love one another to move forward. So that's the main reason why I'm running. I'm Lois Champedley. And thanks for coming out.
Hi, I'm Janet Fraser, and as Laura said, I'm working with the Greens and with Trevita Gonzalez, who unfortunately can't be with us tonight. So thank you for the invitation, thank you to Ron for emceeing, and thank you to Janet for doing the timekeeping. There's not many of us with the same name, so it's nice to meet someone else. So I am the third trustee, and I'm chair of the board, and I'm ready for re-election because students are the centre of everything we do in the school district. Their success is why we exist as a school district, and we must support every single student in our district to reach their full potential. I have 3 teenage children of my own. They've grown up in Marpole. I've lived in Marpole since I immigrated to Canada. And we attend the local schools, we go to the local community centre, and I see the programs there. I see how we can work together. I see here at Strathcona you have a beautiful, renovated, decisively safe school. This is what we need for every student in Vancouver. I see that on site you have a community centre that works closely with the school so that students get services in school, before school breakfast, after school programs. This is how we can make things work better for families in Vancouver. But there are barriers, there are silos in the city, there are challenges of working between the school board, the park board, the city, Vancouver Coastal Health, even the provincial government. And we can continuously improve what we offer to students by better serving our students and our families in our neighbourhoods. We need to improve what we do in the district. We need to learn from people in the neighbourhoods, from our students, our parents, our teachers, all the workers in the school board. How can we improve? How can we do things better for our students? We know we're doing some things well. We know we can improve as well. So I'm Janet Fraser, running for the Green Party. Thank you.